2, 1, live! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. And it's Wednesday night, and you know what that means? It means that I'm stalling to get the theme song queued up. It's Head.
Stall.
Did you see this one? Hello and welcome to another fantabulous episode of the hit podcast that everyone watches. Hey, did you see this one? We're doing a movie from the Creeptacular Spectacular Festival, so that's definitely not the name of this month. So I'll turn it over to our host this week, Steven, I think.
Oh, I'm the host? I didn't even prepare for this. Hello, it's me, Steven, again.
Well,
Here to crack open another page.
If you pay attention
Listen, I was joking.
Oh,
Let me continue what I'm saying.
Sorry.
I'm here to crack open another page in the Grimoire of Familiar Killers.
I love it.
Once upon a time, there was some shit that happened on Elm Street. And then, a few years later, some other shit happened on Elm Street. And that's the shit that we're here to talk about. Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Part 2.
Freddy's Revenge.
Freddy got fingered.
So this movie is... It doesn't pick up directly after the last one, like most of these movies don't, except for Chucky, which was great. Just like basically takes place the next day. This movie is. Should I just summarize it, kind of slightly,
and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, let's like kind of like walk through it at a nice leisurely pace rather than try to go through every single scene. This movie is about a new family that moves on to Elm Street in the same house that took place where the movie took place in the first movie, and immediately we're introduced to a young man named Jesse, and he's having nightmares. The opening scene is a nightmare where he's introduced to Freddy Krueger in a way that he doesn't understand what's going on, and he screams like a lady.
Screams
and then he,
like a real lady.
He
scream queen.
He wakes up and his parents are, kind of nonchalant about the attitude towards parenting, and basically like, is he okay? We don't really care that much, but we're gonna just let him be a teenager because he's a teenager. And the movie, sorry, hold on. I am actually far more intoxicated than I thought. I need to just reroute my brain here. Okay, so the movie Freddy Krueger 2. Let's go. Let's start again.
Nice letter.
Okay, the movie is about a young boy whose family moves into the same house that Freddy Krueger attacked in the first movie. We all know the story of Freddy Krueger. He killed a bunch of kids, then he came back and haunted their dreams. In this movie, this kid is having night terrors, something that most people can either relate to or familiar with in their lives at some point. And most adults, like it's a frightening thing that happens to everybody. He has a girlfriend, I guess, not really, but like they are friends, and he gives her a ride to school every day, and his car is a piece of shit. They
did they have push start back then?
Do they have what back then?
Push start?
Oh, like a push to start the car?
Yeah,
they did, but you'd usually have to like turn a key and then push to start the car, right? So it would be like you turn the key and then you push it. But he has like modified his car so that he just has to have the push. He doesn't even have handles on the door. I don't know if you noticed, like he just leaps into his car because he doesn't even have handles to open the door.
Yeah, and she's like, what you just leave your keys in the car? And he's like, or he has to hotwire it every time, and she's like, well, who's gonna steal a piece of shit car?
He kind of has to hotwire it, but it's almost like he's just like pressing buttons and like punching the underneath of the dashboard and be like, oh, it'll be fine. You know what I think is wrong? And my volume is. Oh, there. That's.
Oh, you know what's also wrong?
What? You're not recording?
Recording in
Oh,
progress.
you son of a bitch!
Hey, I'm running many shows right now. We're live on TikTok. We're live on Twitch. We got viewers.
We're live everywhere.
We're live everywhere.
Okay, let me summarize it quickly. He starts to have visions of Freddy Krueger, but he doesn't know who Freddy Krueger is, and he goes to school. He learns the tale through a few friends, a few of his family members, and eventually he finds the evidence that he needs in a diary in his own room, which is the room of the person in the previous movie. He is reading through it with his friend, and he starts to realize that his dreams are not just dreams, that there's something else going on there. He then starts to feel these weird urges, and he starts to get all scratchy and weird, and he's having like these weeping nightmares every night where he screams, but he's also like covered in sweat. And everything within the movie so far is like, you know, as audience members being like, yeah, we know it's him, it's Freddy, he's back, and he's better than ever. But really, he isn't better than ever. And throughout the movie, he is becoming essentially possessed by Freddy Krueger, and Freddy's urges are coming out through this character, and he is killing people or pulling himself away from killing people at the last minute, whether that is the character of Jesse pulling away, or if it's like him fighting with Freddy and then the result is people dying. We don't know, but it goes on for a while with it. It's just Jesse's kind of like internal turmoil, and like he is basically like the main tornado of story in this movie until we get to the end where they have a sort of like final climactic battle inside of a steel mill or something, and the whole time I'm like, hot stuff coming through. Stand still. There's a spark in your hair. Hard. Get it.
Zap.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have worn my leather.
So let's get right into the business here, guys. Sorry, I haven't hosted in a while.
That was, Caleb.
Oh, good timing. Nice.
I summoned it from the back of my chair. Steve, before is that the completion of your summary of the movie, of your synopsis?
I think so, yeah.
You gotta ask everybody the question that's on everybody's mind, of course.
Oh, hey, did you guys see this one, by the way? I don't know if you did. I did. I saw it twice today, and then I watched the documentary, and then I watched a couple of YouTube videos, and now I'm like,
you watched the movie twice today?
I watched it yesterday, and then I watched it again today. I was also working while doing it. So.
Yeah. So you were,
and then also the documentary. That's awesome.
This movie has a very special. Maybe I should go first.
Yeah,
I know I'm the host, but this movie has a special spot in my heart because I love Freddy Krueger, but I love Freddy Krueger as a character, and this movie doesn't really encapsulate Freddy Krueger as a character, but it does encapsulate something else, which is important, and it's particularly important to me because I really appreciate this kind of like weird representation in movies that doesn't or didn't exist before this, and it didn't exist in a way that we could just blatantly call it out for what it was, because it was always like subtext to the point of like it was a vampire being like, oh, really, where my father's father was into a little bit of the old tug and tug, if you know what I mean. But like this movie is like just sweaty boy bodies like smacking into each other, and you're like, oh. And to watch it now and to have
my grandfather was a bachelor his whole life.
Yeah, he was a real bastard, but he was mostly a butt bastard.
No, I said bachelor.
Oh,
the classic term for we know you're gay.
Person.
We know that weird.
He's been a bachelor for 75
He's
years.
lived with the same roommate for 25 years. Yeah. And never had a girlfriend, not even once.
I remember watching this movie when I was in high school, and that was when I was kind of like, you know, struggling with my own fears of life, which you can attribute a lot of this movie to. And I'll get into that later because there's a ton of stuff in this movie that you can really sort of go, like piece through with a fine-tooth comb. But it meant a lot. And I remembered it because I was like, this is how I'm feeling about my friends and girlfriends and boyfriends and people that are important to me at the time. And this is even slightly before it came out as like a full blown, like, this movie is gay as fuck. Like before that, everyone was like, this movie's gay as fuck. And they were mad about it. And then eventually everyone's like, this movie's gay as fuck and everyone loves it. And then like, that's when it sort of changed, like the attitude changed, right? It was around like 2008 or 9 when the movie like started having Rocky Horror Picture Show style like revelations, and people
resurgence.
They would watch it in theaters and they'd do the same kind of shit. Like when he goes to do his dance on the like everybody get into the aisles and start like and they'd have like the like those weird little the little popper thing. Like they started doing that shit. It's an important movie, and I didn't really have that kind of like great experience of watching it, but I did watch it by myself and be like, whoa, there's so many man chests in this. Like I remember watching it and being like, oh my god, my boner. But yeah, this movie, it meant something to me that I didn't understand until later in life. And I can't really give you like a specific time that I watched it, but I do remember finding it to be important to me. And we'll move on to Jason.
Well,
I have a quick question. Are you trying to say it's gay if I dance around my room?
No, but
am I trying to say that? No, but I guarantee you there's some people out there that'll think that about you fucking queer bitch.
The particular, we gotta be careful even if you are part of the community, because you can't also be a queer bitch on Twitch, I'm pretty sure, regardless of your...
Okay, sorry. Kalen, you sexy man.
That's better. I'm not the Twitch police. I hope our 2 viewers are fucking not offended. I personally did not know that this movie was entered into the annals of gay cinema. Until you guys were talking about it in our group chat.
Not even forcefully either. It was a very well lubricated entry into the annals.
But I clearly have never, like, I've never seen this movie. My introduction to this movie was I was born in 1985. So this has been on the movie rack, or when there were movie racks. It was on the movie racks my whole life. And I'd always pick it up and I'd see that picture. I think the picture on Steve's background is on the back of the like the movie box, and I'd always be like, why does a person have the Freddy glove on? And while we found out, we're going to talk about what's going on throughout this this episode. But the thing is like, I've talked about this probably in every horror movie we've done, but you just get a completely different vibe from every single horror movie. There's one particular that I always think about that I used to pick up and be like, what is this? And it's like Sleepover 3 or Murder Sleepover, one of those like slaughter party.
Slept over.
Yeah. And it's like 3 girls scantily clad with like a dude with a guitar, and the guitar has a drill on the end. And I want to go.
Have you guys watched that? The drill guitar movie? We should watch that.
I want to go, and same with
called the Driller Killer. He's the Driller Killer.
Same with the like Puppet Master series, and you know what I mean.
We should maybe we'll just do that as a random month of just bad horror movies.
I want to go watch all these dumb bad horror movies because I want to see if it like the last 5 the last 7 we've done, like last year and 3 this year. There's a lot of like exposition. There's a lot of like an hour of stuff happening, maybe a couple like mild kills, and then a half hour of like the Home Alone of it, as I always say, of the like the killer comes out and he starts doing his elaborate kills. Chucky's a little different. Chucky's a little bit more cerebral, weirdly enough. But this movie, this absolutely fell into that like proto horror movie And I remember looking at the case for this movie and being like, this is the scariest thing I've ever seen, and watching it today and being like, this is just like a nice movie that's almost an allegory for coming out of the closet a little bit. You know, like it's kind of just like a
kind of
a
sure.
feel
It's
good
not
movie.
almost a little bit at 100%.
And the ending isn't like we defeated the monster. It's like in this particular one, it's like the opposite of the first one where Freddy's inside your dreams. In this one, he's able to get out of the dream by having a host, and you have he feeds off fear, and you have to kill him with love. And that's also sort of an allegory for like bigotry.
Yeah, but we all really wanted was for him to rest his tired head on fucking Grady's shoulder. We didn't want him to put
No,
his
I know.
head
I was
on
bummed out.
what's-her-name's shoulder.
That love story had legs for sure. And Grady was such a dummy that he didn't even know that he was super gay also. And Jesse was gonna, coax
Grady was even debatably more gay than Jesse was.
Well, he kept doing the most
hey man, let's go
homoerotic-
shower together and
Yeah.
hug.
He kept doing the most homoerotic stuff, but I think he was just a dumb jock. Right, but like he'd be like, "Yeah, it's not gay if a dude sucks my dick. It's not gay." He would be that
He was
kind of
nice
gay.
though too. He was nice.
That's true. There was a lot of stuff in this movie where I was like, "That's clearly bullying," but like the snake part, and everybody's just in on it, so it's not really.
No,
he didn't really
and
get
like
bullied.
he gives him like a cute little,
Yeah,
like,
and then they're all like,
Yeah.
like they're like but they're all friends. Like there's no actual bully in this movie. Like you think Grady's gonna be the bully, but Grady actually ends up being like literally his best friend,
bud.
where he runs to him for help later.
I think they subvert our expectations because of that opening, the opening thing where he's
also
playing like the nerd and like the girls are laughing at him, and then he goes to this. You immediately see him and he's wearing like like cool. He's like kind of cool. He comes downstairs with grungy, like what would become grunge clothes. He's like kind of cool. Like, what's that, parents? I'm going to school with my new girlfriend in my car. So like he's already pretty much put together compared to that nerd you see in the school bus at the very beginning.
It's weird because there's not like I got the feeling from this movie that like you don't know how little amount of time he's been here or how much amount of time he's been here, and the reason that the reason that is because of how little he's unpacked. Yeah. He could have been there for like 6 months, or he could have been there for 3 weeks. You don't know, because his room is just like not unpacked, right? And you're like, how long has he been here? I don't fucking know.
Sorry, before we move on though, I just started talking about the movie. We got to hear from Kaylin.
Oh, that's in the back of my mind too.
Okay,
I thought you weren't done yet.
No,
Kaylin.
You guys didn't forget me. Yay!
In summation, the first time I ever thought about this movie was being horrified by the box art and watching it today and being just like, that was just a good fun 80s movie. Everything was so 80s about it, that part of it, besides the subtext. It's just a fucking fun, like, cool. It's cool. It's a cool movie.
Kaylin, when is the first time that you saw Frederick Krueger 2? Nightmare on Frederick Krueger Street.
How am I supposed to follow up to both of you guys? Both lovely. It was either last year or the year before. I mentioned on previous podcasts, I did a little run of the classic horror movies during like the heat of COVID. And at the time, I watched each series in full. Like I did the whole series all together, and then I would do the next like franchise. So I saw this either last year or the year before. On my first viewing, there were a few moments here and there where I was like, oh, it looks like they're kind of hinting at what's the word I'm looking for? Steven, what kind of words am I allowed to use?
Fag shenanigans.
That doesn't sound appropriate at all.
No, that doesn't sound like you can say that.
I wouldn't even want to say that anyway.
We can say that
like,
on either of the platforms we're streaming live to either.
Homoeroticism is what you're looking for, I think.
Right. There's homosexual undertones, or like it felt like it's like a little nod or whatever. This go around, I could definitely see a little more, as you put it, like an allegory, Jason. And Steven, I'm sure you're going to
We're gonna have to
mention
bleep that. I'm sorry I said that. That's stupid that I said that. But
the whole thing isn't a
That's
throbbing cock though, but there.
Sorry. It's at points it's a throbbing cock, and then at other times it's a flaccid cock that's going like this. Boing, boing, boing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Boing. I'm alive still.
And that was my first time.
Well, Kaylin, I gotta say, like, one of the most exciting things about watching this movie in like for the first time in a long time was I had talked to you a little bit about it, and I was like, I think this may be the gayest movie ever, but like I haven't seen it in a long time, and I've seen a few documentaries since I've seen it, so I'm excited to watch it again. And you were like, no, it's all just undertones, though. It's undertones, dude. It's undertones. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like maybe you'll watch this and you're going to be calling them throbbing overtones. And I watched it, and I was
aggressive subtext. It was aggressive subtext. I think that's the perfect way to phrase it.
But you know what? Aggressive subtext. You know what that means? Is somebody dry humping your leg with a big direct cock.
Also, I'm pretty sure Jesse waking up in the middle of the night and going to the gay bar, and then the coach telling him to go take a shower to prepare for something, all happened like in world. So
everything in this movie happens in except for maybe the opening scene and the closing scene.
What about the sister?
I think that happened.
No, that happened.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because he's like, ding, 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 and he goes and he's like, wake up, little girl. And then he's like there, and he's like, oh, it's nothing. Go to... And then he later in the movie, he's like, he made me go to my little sister's room. Which I'm like, that's Freddy. That's like the Freddy part of it, because he like likes little kids or whatever. But everything else is him dealing with his own shit, right? So like Freddy is like fusing with his confusion. And all right, let's just jump into the movie, shall we? From the beginning, perhaps.
Can I say that I like the opening? I like the way he looked in the opening scene, like his kind of loner back of the bus. Yeah. Like it looked like a completely different person. And I just like his mannerisms and everything he was doing, like he nailed it, and I loved it.
I thought he was going to be a loser dork, and then that's what I was saying. Like he turns out to be like kind of cool.
It's a good 1-2 switch where you think he's going to be a greasy like. Oh, I've never touched a bra before.
But the thing is like Jesse's clearly struggling with his own sexuality, and the girl's all over him. She won't let up, and the weird tongue part. It sort of is like it happened, but it's also like a weird like he doesn't. If Freddy doesn't, if you subtract
Jason,
Freddy,
you're jumping way ahead.
I know.
Sorry,
then let me start right at the beginning. Do you know what I liked about this movie?
What?
That they were able to do opening credits over top of what was happening, and it wasn't just a fucking black screen. And we got shortly after that,
and Robert Englund is like, closing the door. Ding, ding, ding.
And shortly after that, Grady explains the plot of the first movie in one sentence, or like a couple of sentences.
Yeah,
and
not a 10-minute fucking recap of the first movie. Because
he gives a few sentences of expository dialogue that put the fear into him, and he's like, what? But he's already been experiencing Freddy Krueger isms or whatever you want to call them. And then later he finds the diary that then solidify it because it's like his steel claws and all that kind of stuff. Which those two pieces together make him realize that something's going on. But yeah, the movie opens with a bus ride to hell, basically.
Have you guys ever been on a school bus and you purposely try to hit you get ready for a bump so that you get like a super bounce?
Yeah,
I have done that as well. It's fun. It's
fun.
Very fun. Yeah, I remember that being one of the bus. I remember there was like a particular bump on the way back from Toronto. From like when we'd go, like when I was in Mississauga or Brampton, we would go on school trips. And we all memorized where that bump was. And we'd be like, 1, 2. And the bus driver would be like, 1, 2, 3. We'd be like, fuck. Like hit our heads on the ceilings and shit.
That's awesome.
But the movie opens with a bus drive Freddy Krueger or Robert Englund is the driver, which is like,
Yeah.
if you know Freddy Krueger, you see him, you're like, like I literally was like, it's him. So like you already know it's a dream, and he's all greasy and weird. Yeah, and you know those two teenage bitches in the side who are just fucking being like, oh, he's weird, he's so fucking weird, and you're like, okay, calm down. And then Freddy Krueger kills. He doesn't even kill anybody really. He just kind of like is dragging his claws against the seats. I must say the sound design in this.
The sound design is incredible in this movie.
But that was good. For when he's running in the gym, it sounded like he was wearing wet socks or something.
Oh, I didn't even. Well, maybe he was.
There's also
But he was
sweaty from his like, night sweats and his horniness.
So like walking around, like skulking, trying not to get killed by Freddy Krueger music. It was just like it's just like a violin, like a high pitched violin, but also there's this like chung that's happening in.
Like, which sounds so much like the music from Prometheus that I could not get over. I'm like,
ooh.
Did the guy from Prometheus just steal the Freddy Krueger 2?
It reminded me of the score from the Walking Dead. Also, Walking Dead had a lot of that same like really good ambient music, especially early on in the series. Really good ambience with just like some weird noise that's happening. That's like plotting. You know, like it's just like a almost rhythmic. Plong. Walking Dead used to do that a lot as well.
No, I love a good thinking man's murder music where it's got a little like tweaks and shit to it. It's great. So obviously, you know, they realize, driver, you missed my stop, and then I made a joke as like he went over
great
the
delivery,
road
great
into
delivery.
and he's like running through cactuses, and then I was talking to Danny and I was like, driver, you missed my stop too. It was over there next to that cactus. And like they're just going and going, and then it turns into hell. And like this is probably one of the most impressive shots of the whole scene is like the ground crumbles away and they're in some sort of hellscape, and then he gets up and is like ripping the seats up. And then it cuts to like the family at the table, and you hear the most like gut-wrenching feminine scream you've ever heard, like
scream.
Yeah, and then like the little girl's like, why does Jesse not wake up like normal people wake up? And
I give that the first
like,
kind of little nod.
He's not normal, I guess.
That's the first little elbow kind of nudge kind of thing as far as the subtext.
Yeah.
Yes,
I think every time he wakes up and screams like that, I was like, the filmmaker here wanted to. Is this Wes Craven at this point? Like,
this is Wes Craven, isn't it?
No, it's not. No,
did he?
It
Only
wasn't
do the
directed by Wes Craven.
this is not directed by Wes Craven.
No, it's not directed by Wes Craven. But like, is he still involved in these movies?
No, he is not involved in this one at all. They asked him to come back, but he said no, and he went and made a sequel to some other movie that he was working on at the time. I can't remember that.
I thought his argument was he didn't want to do sequels.
All right, fuck, Kalen. I'm a Wes Craven master. I don't know fucking now.
Which he
Jesus
would,
Christ.
He would go and drop because every one of his fucking movies turns into a franchise.
No, I assume that Wes Craven wanted to like move on to something else, but he did go on to direct something else, and I think he directed something new at the same time. So he was probably trying to like make new stuff. But no, Wes Craven is not involved in this at all. But also weirdly, like they tried to shaft Robert Englund, where they're like, "You want to come back?" And he's like, "Yeah, bitch,
Yeah, bitch.
I want at least a 45% raise." And they're like, "No, wait, is that happening?"
Do B movies when you're not doing this movie. I have a question about the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise as a whole. This one, from my perception of it, not seeing the following movies, is this the most different one from the rest of them? Because the trope is that it all happens. It's elaborate ways to kill people inside of their dreams based on their fears.
Jason.
Is this the Halloween 3 of the series?
This is. It is the most different, and I gotta say, I commend it for it because it did something so different from the first movie that I was impressed and liked how different it was
compared to
you
the
know?
last two movies, which almost play as reboots of the original. They're sequels,
Right.
but they almost play as like just let's do the same thing but better. This one is a true sequel in that it's different, and it
New
takes.
story, yeah.
It's like at the
There
end
are
of the
a lot of
first-
people who think that this movie is not a good Friday the 13th movie, but there are even more
Well, it's a
people that
terrible
think that
Friday the 13th movie.
But
There are
Nightmare on
even
Elm
more-
Street.
but there sorry, you're right. But there are even more people that think it's a great horror movie.
Well,
Because-
I think it's a good sequel because at the end of the movie, he's trying to get out into the real world. Like he
Yeah.
gets out for
It's
like
almost
a minute,
like what's
but then he's banished and he's now haunting the house as an entity. You know what I mean? So
or
Right.
people, like he's specifically clinging on to people, and that's
But
what
that
this,
area, though, isn't it?
and that's the well, yeah, he's bound to Elm Street or whatever for some. I think it's because like his glove got burnt in that basement or whatever the fuck. Like, there's a lot of weird lore that goes along with these monsters, our familiar killers, our Grimoire of Familiar Killers. Where'd my book go? I can't remember.
read from
But,
the grimoire.
Yeah, I can't find it. I threw it across the room out of anger. It's here. Sorry. Page 179. Why Umbra? They asked. Because Umbra was what brought back the witch, the witch of all witches.
I don't
If
think
only we could witch a witch that witched all witches.
You know
That's
what's
what it
weird?
says.
If that's actually in the book, that's actually weird that you open to something that's similar to the witch that got brought back.
So,
The witch of all witches.
the scene that commences afterwards is the family, the family of familiar killers. The mom and the dad, and they're worried about the son, but the person that voices the worry is the daughter, the little sister, right?
Yeah.
She's the one who's like, why can't Jesse just wake up normally? And they're like, oh, Jesse's normal. He's a normal kid. And then
He
Jesse
just
comes
needs some
down.
methadone in a fucking one of those Jesus camps where they convert you
Listen,
back to...
I have, oh my God, Jason, I have so many, as a gay, all of these things affect me.
That's why this is going to be our most special episode ever, because finally
No.
somebody can relate to the subject material on a less superficial level, on a less level than me being like, do you guys like it because my name's Jason?
Have you ever heard about murders?
Do you and your sister get along, Steven?
Yeah, but at this point, like, if this was the moment, then no. Not at this point, no. Like, if I was his age and she was her age, no, we do not get along at all. That's not the point of this conversation, though. The point of the conversation is that this movie is full of gay shit. Like, the board game Probe. Anybody heard of Probe?
I did see
I've
that
never
little
played Probe.
in the closet, yeah.
Okay, so he has a little bit of, business with his parents in terms of like talking, and his dad's like, oh, finally you decided to bring a couple boxes down. Okay, can I get a couple more down tomorrow? And everything in your room's got to go in the garbage by next week or whatever. And he's like, all right, Dad, I promise. Then he goes to work with his friend who looks exactly like Meryl Streep, like a young Meryl
Like
Streep.
a young...
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Kim Myers.
Did she do anything else? Because she doesn't...
She looks familiar.
But yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah,
if
she
looks
changed her
that
name to
familiar.
Meryl Streep, and she aged several decades.
And she aged 20 years overnight and became the Meryl Streep we all know today, who's still working and pretty old, but very good.
But awesome, yeah. Age is just a number.
That's true. Look at Helen Mirren. She's
I
like,
don't know who that is.
Helen Mirren, come on.
Give me an example.
Anyway, we get to the
Dame-
school.
Dame.
Oh, Dame Edmund Harold.
Dame Edmund Harold, the doy.
Hey, it's me, Dame Edmund Harold. What you want about it?
What you on about here? Is British fucking Freddy Krueger.
What you on about? And he's got like shears for hands, like Edward Scissorhands.
Edward Edmund Duke of Edmund Sheerhands. You're gonna put that in your D&D game, aren't you? I killed him. He's dead. I killed Steve. Right here on TikTok and Twitch.
I have
It's
a question
me,
for you.
Ed Sheeran.
Oh my god.
Just get like
Have you guys ever worn jock straps?
That was
I
the
have, and they made me horny as heck when I
that was
wore
the
them.
perfect question to ask right after me and Steve killed each other. Kayla hits us with a, have you ever worn a jockstrap? No, I have not.
Are you
ever.
not supposed to wear underwear with them?
I don't. No, not if you're
You
doing
don't have to.
sports.
Listen, Kaylin, the answer to your question is the movie was more horny when you could see a bare booty boy.
That's true. This was for the bare booty boys.
Lisa's friend liked it.
Yeah, she said nice ass.
That's another
So
trope. That's another trope that they turned on its ear. Lisa's friend, who's that character.
You said ear instead of ass, Jason.
That
We're all
That
about the
character-
game. We're talking about the game.
that character is usually such a bitch and hates the girlfriend's boyfriend, and she's so supportive, even though she's still like,
She's-
I'm a slut. I'm a girl.
This
and
is
I'm a
like
slut."
why
she's like,
this
also
movie
your
kinda
boyfriend
also-
can get it, girl. And I was like, that's weird because normally that character is like, fuck that guy. He don't deserve you.
Yeah. This movie, honestly, it feels more like reality than a lot of slasher movies feel like. Because, like, they play against the tropes.
Yep.
That character should be telling her that guy sucks. But instead,
he might
she's
be a little
saying,
bit,
no,
you know.
look at it. Go kiss him. He's got a nice butt. Look at his butt.
Yeah.
And, like, that's more like real life to me than this, like, whatever other movies we've watched that are. We haven't really watched a lot of movies where it's like teenage sex scandal or whatever, but like that feels more real to me than people just coming in and being like, don't touch me, I smoke cigarettes and I don't like boobs in my face until I want them in my face. Like, like characters that don't make sense. Like, everyone in this movie kind of makes a little bit of sense. Like, even with Grady, like,
When he's talking with
they
his mouth
fight
filled with food, I was like, that's the most like
disgusting shit,
Disgusting,
but also like I
real
know
thing.
people have done that. Yeah.
that's the most like I've seen somebody doing that to try to be like a goofy, funny dummy, and they hit that on the head. Grady is one of the great friends also in film.
And like, they set him up to be a villain, right?
Oh yeah.
Within the first 5 minutes of them meeting each other, it's like he's gonna be the bad guy. And then they're doing push-ups together. And he's like, "What do you have against me, Grady?" And Grady's like, "Nothing. I'm just
a lovable
I'm just passing the time,
You're just
man.
killing
Like,
time. Yeah, I like
then,
that
like,
moment a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're in the
Also, I think you look
changing room.
really good in those fucking sweats you're wearing.
Yeah, you got a real cute butt, brother. Come on, let me give a honk on it. Let's go.
Let's have a hug in the shower and touch peens.
I gotta say,
Some people
that
just like to stir
booty
shit though. Like, they're
is
not doing it
phenomenal.
maliciously.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like they're fucking around for a fun, like a good time or whatever, right?
Yeah,
That's-
but also
yeah.
that's exactly what it is, right? It's just weird friendship, and he's new. I mean, I guess like we still don't know how long,
Relatively.
or like how long he's been.
I
here,
feel
how
like
long
we're
he
probably
hasn't
a
been
month
here.
into the first year, like the new school year. I feel like
Like
we're a
he's
month.
still sort of new, right?
He's
That's
long
what
enough
we're-
that he's friends
yeah.
with Lisa to the point where like they're that
He's driving her
familiar.
to school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the friend even says like, "Hey, you gonna kiss that boy?" And she's like, "He's just giving me a drive to school." But like the next couple of scenes that we see, they get
But
closer.
Grady also assumes that they're boning, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's like, "So you feeding it to her every night or what?" And he's like, "Come on, Grady, cut this."
Mountain that.
Are you mounting that? Yeah. Yeah. But not in
So
a gross
anyway,
way.
it's also like a weirdly more realistic kind of construct of high school to me, I guess. I don't know. Like, I feel like that's kind of gross sounding, where I'm like, this is like how my high school construct was, where like people would be mean to me and then I'd be friends with them like afterwards. I don't know if a lot of people had that as well, but there's probably people now who are like, if someone's mean to me, I will make a diagram of the school and buy guns.
and then make a diagram of them
Yeah.
out of their own skin.
Yeah. It's like, if you're young enough, you can be friends with literally anybody, even the
true.
weirdos.
The thing I noticed is they did the trope where everybody looks like they're 25, but they actually act like teens.
They were doing a good job of acting like
teenagers. They just had to hire
yeah.
actors that were older, and nowadays they can. The laws have changed.
I feel like I'm also old enough now that everybody who's under a certain age,
Yeah.
if I'm not familiar with how they look when they're old, I can still see them as young. Like
that happens at the liquor
If
store.
Robert Downey Jr. showed up, I'd be like, all right, Robert Downey Jr., you old ass man. But because it's like people that I don't know anymore, I'm like, yeah, that's a teenager. That looks like a teenager to me.
Interestingly enough, if you see Robert Downey Jr. in an old movie, he never really looked young. He has one of those like.
He has a weird face.
I think it's that he looks young.
Yo,
face.
in Weird Science, he looks super weird.
What about Weird Science?
That's a dope movie.
Hey,
that's going to be my TBS month. I'm going to do a TBS month where I do the classics.
What the fuck, Kalen? You hit your finger like you were going to list shit and you just did one thing. I'm going to do the classics. That's it.
Weird Science.
The classics.
Weird Science, Breakfast Club.
No.
16
Don't do any John Hughes. John Hughes can get the
No,
fuck
but those
out
were
here.
the classic Superstation. Like those movies I saw.
Yeah, but you know what I like to say? John Hughes, find your shoes. Get out of here.
But you know what used to play all the time on TBS, Kalen, though? Fucking The Waterboy. I've seen The Waterboy 50 times because of TBS. So
it's
do we have
hilarious.
to watch The Waterboy? Because I would watch The Waterboy.
All right, so this is when we get introduced to the coach. The coach.
He's spitting the cooler.
You're an needle dick. Sorry, Steve.
The coach is introduced at this point. He's clearly a fucking prick, but in their
likes pretty boys.
punishment, because they fight each other, right? The two of them, but then that's where they become friends. They Jesse learns from Grady that the coach is kind of like a weird
Leather Daddy?
He's gay. He's a gay man. He
likes going to S&M clubs.
Yeah, he's a queer. They say that. And he likes going to S&M clubs.
So you can say...
So he goes to that S&M club.
You can say queer now with the right context, and it's fine. But the way that they say
in this movie, it's a bad, yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. It's a bad in this movie. Yeah.
The way I understand it is bisexual isn't really a term anymore. That's kind of a passé term, and it's just queer. Is sort of the way that it...
No,
that's
not quite correct.
Well, I don't know. I'm trying to be educated. I'm trying to be, I'm trying to.
You can still say bisexual, but anyway. You don't need to say bisexual. Are you bisexual? Then you don't need to worry about
it. No,
that's a good point.
It's more like an insular saying amongst us gays.
What if
Get out of here, you fucking normie!
What if I'm what's known as a cum wagon?
Well, welcome aboard.
You carry
the door's open
from one spot to another.
Okay.
No, listen, guys, come on. I'm not the most youthful gay person to be able to have this conversation with you. I'm sure there are going to be people who are like, yo, this Bagusi over here.
Yeah, look at this. Look at
getting his words all twisted up.
Bagoosing all over the place again.
Yeah. So anyway, this is when you kind of you get the vibe, the gay vibe, but you also get the gay information, which is that the coach is gay.
The information.
The information.
Well, he's more of a pedo.
I don't know. Like, I think you...
Galen, there is literally no proof in this movie that he's a pedophile.
Right.
Not a single ounce of evidence.
He did kind of tell that kid to go take a shower while he prepared, It seemed like he was
he preparing that for
like he was
rape,
preparing.
or was he preparing that for tomorrow's lesson of skipping?
I think he was preparing for, like, you come in here, you do what I say, kid.
De Niro?
Is that a good De Niro?
I don't like that.
Okay.
So high schools have unfortunately a bad history of that sort of thing happening. At my old high school, there's a few coaches or whatever gym teachers that are on trial. Did I piss him off?
So Steve's leaving. How about instead of leaving, just come back and tell us where we're wrong and why it's bad, because I don't want to alienate anybody, And also, Kaylin just presents.
I'm not trying to alienate anyone. I'm just saying, like, so Grady said he likes pretty boys like you.
Kaylin
and he gives them
proof.
to run laps, go to the shower, like you said.
But I apologize. I don't want to. Allow me to get serious
Guys,
for a second.
So, I know that the scene looks bad. Yeah, for sure. It does. But we're walking past, we're sleepwalking, if you will, past a lot of important details in the movie.
Reel us back.
All right, so we go back to him learning that the coach is gay, and it kind of sucks that scene that we're talking about now is perpetuated by both of you. That, like, it is perceived as not only something that's not of the norm, but it's perverted because now he's like trying to fuck a teenager, which like, you don't necessarily need to think that, but you do.
Yeah.
Okay, if you forget that part, Freddy Krueger BDSM murders that coach, and that's
We're not there
undeniable.
yet. We're not there.
That is what I want to talk about, is that okay,
that's what I
so
figured.
if you look at the idea of Freddy Krueger as his desires,
Jesse's desires?
Jesse's
Right, okay.
desires.
Yeah.
It kind of changes your thinking about it, right? So like, he has the dream where he is gonna go. He's gonna go like kill his sister or whatever, right? And then he ends up walking the streets, and he almost sleepwalks, because he's asleep, to a bar. But he didn't just go to a normal bar. He goes to a BDSM gay bar.
Leather bar.
The one that Grady
bar.
had mentioned previously.
Yes. So that could also be the reason he goes there, is that he knew about it, right? Where he's like, Dominic's or the Red Room down on 85. And he's like, okay, and he goes there. And he orders just a beer, and like everyone
He pours it into a glass like a fucking... That's
like
the
a
weirdest...
highball glass, too.
Yeah.
You're like, what? That's
like not even a beer
like,
glass. He's pouring it like he's going to drink
old-fashioned
the
glass.
rest later. Like hours and hours later. Like,
Well, he got a little glass. Like, you can't blame him.
Yeah.
You know when you get
That
like
guy
a bottle
did
of
get
And the
wine
bartender
shitty
just
little
like
glass.
flicks it to him.
Yeah.
and also doesn't ID him or make him pay any money?
Yeah, there's no way he's of age, right? High school, that's
Absolutely
like the
not.
max
He's
is 18,
maximum
right?
17.
And then you gotta be 21 in the States, right?
Yeah.
All right. Can we jump back like a tiny little bit?
Absolutely.
Which is,
You're the host.
Jesse, he's already had like a few dreams that he's been dealing with Freddy Krueger, and he's invited his friend over who has helped him clean his room, and blah, blah, they found the journal, and all this shit happens. But then he has a dream where he goes outside to his dumpsters in his side of his house, and he sees some fire, and he sees a guy pulling a package out of fire and opening it up, and he goes down and he finds the glove, the Freddy Krueger glove, and Freddy comes out and he's like, kill for me, yes, you gotta kill for me. And then he goes up and he is confronted by Freddy, and Freddy is like, caressing his face and basically being like, let's fucking go, bro.
Apparently that scene was supposed to be a little more intimate.
Yeah, but it's already very intimate. Like,
Yeah.
it is. Like he's like treating him like a doll, like Freddy is treating him like he
A
was
little play
picking up-
toy.
like he's at a bar trying to pick up a woman, right? Like that's kind of what it feels like.
You've got the body. I've got the brain. And peels his brain back. We skipped
Great
over
effect,
that.
by the way.
That was a great effect. I don't know why this part of his head was like throbbing. Does that part of your head throb? Like,
Because that's where your vein is.
yeah, okay. I thought so. It was fucking gross and awesome.
But also it's
Subtext. Aggressive subtext.
It's like, aggressive subtext, right? It's like, you've got the body, I've got the brain, and he's like let me take over your body, and like that's it's so clear. It's so clear. But so anyway, we
Also,
get back.
even the snake now, even the snake on his shoulder is a little bit like.
Oh man, snakes are in like they are very sexy.
They're very
Snakes
sexy.
are sexy.
Snakes,
Yeah.
especially a
phallic.
big old boa constrictor. That's what they called me in high school.
I did not write
comment on
down the
that scene?
snake because I was like, I don't know how to articulate how snakes are sexy, but I
They're
know
phallic.
that they are.
They're giant. A boa constrictor is the horniest snake. Let's come on.
Yeah.
But maybe an anaconda is a little bit hornier.
Can we also call out teachers for getting pissed off at the kid getting picked on and not the person doing the picking on?
Every single movie in the history of
Well,
movies is
in
that's what
that
happens.
scene, it's not clear who's picking on.
But
who
everybody
at that
goes-
moment.
No, but the teacher got after him. Why would he put, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's getting picked on. Like, I don't understand how teachers can be blind. Sorry, I'm getting a little, like, that scene pissed me off because I've had that shit happen to me. And it drives me insane.
You know how you have that not happen, Kalen?
Don't get picked on?
Be the class clown.
Don't move to Elm Street.
Or don't move to Elm
motherfucker.
But I usually ended up as the class clown or like bully type figure. But the thing is like
You can't be both of those.
Both?
I was
You were both?
Kind of both. I was kind of both.
Oh, man, that means lot of
I would
people
just get
hated
sent
you.
out of class for just like every minor infraction, but like, yeah.
Oh no, Jason was just the bully. He thought he was also the class clown.
No, I've made people laugh.
Yeah, you made other bullies laugh, like tinier bullies around you.
This one kid I picked on mercilessly, and I feel bad about it. And this other kid I picked on also mercilessly, and I feel bad about it. And in retrospect, like at the time, I was like, this is hilarious. But in retrospect, it's like, wow, like I was pretty merciless, and that might be my when I'm at if heaven and hell exist, and I'm at the pearly gates, and they're like,
That's the deciding factor.
you did all this shit. That's
If we're at the
fucked
gates
up,
of hell
but-
and Freddy Krueger is picking between the three of us, it might be he's
did you
like,
bully that nerd?
you know
and
what, Jason?
Did you bully?
did throw those mice. In that
Did you
room.
bully that nerd and then become a nerd? I'd be like,
Steve,
yeah.
you crippled people mentally. Kalen, enjoy double hell. He like kicks you in the chest. And you fall
Why
into
does
double
why does
hell.
Kalen go to double hell?
Because I was also pretty mean as well. Kalen seems like he was very nice.
Yeah.
Why do I get double hell again?
Oh, because the
'Cause you were
teacher
too
always
nice
picks
to go
on
to
the teacher
regular
picks,
hell.
always
You had to
picks
go
on
down
the
to
person
double
who's-
hell.
Yeah, the teacher always picks on who's being bullied the worst. So I go to regular
Ah,
hell.
gotcha.
Steve goes to like a gay hell.
No, I probably go to straight hell.
Straight hell, right?
That
Because
would
it's
be
the
even
opposite.
worse.
Of,
Yeah.
Gross
What you would want.
regular sex.
I just want to. If
Yeah.
I go to hell, I want to go to the hell from Little Nicky. I think where you can just, if you're really bad, you get fucked with a pineapple. But if you're like,
You
All
get
right,
pooped
all right,
on.
all right. Come on, guys. Let's go.
if you're just kind of
Let's
bad,
go.
you get to listen to Van Halen all day. You know.
Okay, so where are we? We got up to the point where he takes over. He's giving the beautiful caressing, and he's like, "This is when gay stuff is gonna happen to you, bitch." He doesn't say bitch. Like the one thing about this movie that kind of sucks is that he's not really Freddy. And
I did find that this was kind of a step back in that sense. Like, it didn't seem like there was very many kills. Like, you know what I mean? Like, usually, like, they try to top themselves from the last one. And I'm not saying
Well,
that
they were trying to do
it's-
something different, right? And
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons I think this movie is actually kind of great. Is that they
I agree.
move on from
It's
it
closer
being
to Chucky.
dream kills to like it is sort of like a Chucky thing,
It's
right? Like
close-
where everything
it's closer
around
to Chucky
you
2
is
than it is Friday the
dangerous.
13th Part 2, because this one isn't about this one's more about exploring the character a little bit more versus making the killer's kills more elaborate. The
Right.
amount of times I thought he was going to straight up boil those kids in that pool and then we got no payoff was astounding.
That's true.
If
That's
this was Wes
true. That's
Craven,
very true.
If this was Wes Craven,
You know, what
they
you got
would've
more
gotten
of
boiled
than those kids
immediately.
getting boiled. It was like the people with wieners on forks being like, "Hey!" And I'm like, "It's so gay! It's so gay! They have wieners on forks." And
That
you
part
didn't
wasn't
boil
gay.
those kids? That's gay, Kaylin. Yes.
You don't pick up your hot dog with a fork?
I put it in a bun like a
if you
real
make
man.
a movie that is so gay in every way, and then you have somebody wiggling a fucking hot dog on a, that's gay. Like that just adds to the gay. I'm not saying that that is gay on its own. I'm saying that in conjunction with the rest of the movie, very gay. Yeah. Okay, so, where are we at?
Wasn't kill for him.
Can somebody put me back on track here?
So we're ahead to we're probably just past the shower scene, the shower kill, but we're not
there yet.
Oh no, okay, wait, we still have to talk about the shower scene.
But we have to talk about one thing that we kind of glossed over. There is like they do have the montage of him cleaning up the bedroom. Right, and we get
my favorite scene.
The great dance with the popper.
Oh,
the butt dance.
Yeah.
So he's going to see Lisa. His dad's like, "Get in your room and clean it. Put away your shit." He does a great. He
doesn't say it like that. He's kind of a nice dad about it. He's like, "Nope, son. Nope.
Well, I told him to have it done yesterday.
And he did tell him the day before.
That's true.
Yeah, he's being a reasonable dad. He's being a reasonable dad.
For now. Also, why didn't the dad get horribly murdered in a gruesome way? I thought he was cruising
because
I'll
tell you about it later,
Jason.
About homophobic parents. I have a big document about it.
You got a document. You got a grimoire about it.
So
he goes to the room. He's doing his little. He's trying on different hats and different sunglasses and dancing around to the hits of the '80s, which is awesome. Which was like
kind of remind me of Tom Cruise with the Ray-Bans.
Yeah, man, like this is just different and cool.
So this is also the scene that made everybody hate this movie for almost all the 80s and 90s until the early 2000s to mid 2000s. Until it became
my favorite scene. It's hilarious.
It's very good.
It's also the scene that is very gay and made everybody realize that this is a gay movie and that why am I watching this with my girlfriend? I'm not gay.
I'm not gay.
And he realizes he's holding his best friend's hand and he's like, "We're not gay." They both look at each other's hands.
So Lisa, he has to tell Lisa. Well, he tells Lisa he's coming over. That's what the dad sends him upstairs to clean. He has the game montage. Lisa shows up, and that she actually catches him in mid pop. Like it looks like he's just like jumping up and down.
Yeah, dancing with himself.
Motion. He like is really idle, but she's still cool. She's still cool with it, and that's what I thought it was going to be like. She's like, oh,
she still wants to be his boyfriend,
not my girlfriend, not my boyfriend, my gay best friend. But that never happened. They ended up fully banging pretty much.
No, they didn't.
Well, he groped her pretty good.
They didn't fully bang. No.
There's a very significant moment later that happens where he specifically does not bang her.
Okay. But she finds
and then runs to this.
Who's the girl from the beginning? Or from the first movie? Is her name Nancy?
I believe it's Nancy.
They find Nancy's diary.
Journal,
but the way that it's all written is very horny. Did you notice that?
It's very horny. Well, it's talking about Johnny Depp, obviously.
Well, the first
I saw him taking his hooter off, and I was like, "Oh my god!" He took his hooter off, and I wanted to stick my hooter inside his hooter. If you know what I'm saying?
That part of me that wanted him couldn't resist.
And then his horny,
he tore all my
metal claws ripped inside my leg muscle.
Then Jesse's like, "Wait a second, this seems a little bit too much like what happened in my dream."
The claws, yeah. When he heard the claws, it reminded him of exactly.
There was another little moment at the beginning that we glossed over too, where the little sister is like trying to get the toys out of the cereal box.
Oh, the Fu Manchu.
The Manchu finger.
There's a cereal called Fu Manchu.
Yeah,
good lord.
Okay, that was racist as fuck. But anyway, she gets the fingers out, and they look just like Freddy Claus, and I was like, that's good, like foreshadowing, even though you know what movie you're watching. You know what movie.
Yeah, they could have just called it Claus.
If it was its own movie, though.
That's true. If you had no idea and you were watching and you didn't know who Freddy was or why he needed to have revenge, or you're starting at the second movie, sure. But
but then it goes to a cut of her and she's like, "Ee!" and she has like little Fu Manchu claws on her fingers and she's like, "Ee!" and you're
liked it.
"Oh god."
I thought it was
fun. I liked it too, yeah. As much as I was like, you didn't need the Fu Manchu, but you know what? It works. Like it freaks me out because I know what's to come.
I was looking at my hand earlier today, and I realized that Nova Scotia is the thumb of the hand.
Well, it depends on what
hand
That
seems like you're giving Nova Scotia a lot of credit.
Because if I look down at my right hand, it looks like a turkey.
No, it's like
No,
saying that
that's-
my hand wouldn't work without Nova Scotia.
You know what?
I'm pretty sure I
nice.
could cut Nova Scotia off my hand, and
If
my
Nova
hand would
Scotia
still work.
sank into
I didn't
the
even
ocean,
know I was being that smart.
if Nova Scotia sank into the ocean, nobody would notice. And I'm from there. Okay? As long as Halifax just like stayed on a tiny island and Dartmouth sank first.
No.
Yeah, Dartmouth Eurasia.
Dartmouth is
for
cool
life.
now.
Dartmouth
Nova
sucked.
Scotia is like a
Always
groat
sucked.
in between the pinky and the middle finger, and you could dig it out and huck it in the ocean, and we'd still have an operational hand.
Yeah, it's Dartmouth is the taint of Canada.
No, but I mean physically, like when you look at the map, Nova Scotia sticks out, right?
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
Southern Ontario it's Canada's penis. Like how Florida, like if you look at the two maps, it's like two men banging.
Oh, Florida's
Canada-
like a flaccid penis. Nova
Canada-
Scotia's like a boner penis.
Canada's banging the United States, and Florida.
All right. Hey,
America's
hey,
dangling.
hey!
And
Stop.
Montreal's the asshole.
Listen to me.
I love Montreal.
We're gonna talk
Filled with
about
assholes.
the coach getting murdered
BDSM murders?
now. Yes. So
It's
after
a very
that
important scene.
part of the movie, he literally sleepwalks. Like I'm trying to like ingratiate you guys with the gayness of the movie, which is like he is trying to stay away from his gayness the whole time, right? Like if you
Right.
watch the movie as though he's
From
trying
that
to get
way.
away from his gayness,
Yeah.
that's what the movie is. And then he accidentally wanders into a gay bar and is like, "Can I have a beer?" And he's like so sweaty, and he's like, and like the bartender does
It's
not
also raining.
ask
I
him.
just want to add that it's also raining.
But he was also very sweaty before that. So like it could be sweat, could be rain, who knows? I want to add that.
Yo, open shirt all day.
The sweat could be sweat or it could be rain plus sweat. That's what I'm saying. He walks in and he asks for a beer. The bartender gives him a beer, no questions asked. Like
Yeah,
I even watch I've seen this movie a couple times. I was like, there's a moment where the bartender's like, "RD," right? And it doesn't happen. And he gets the beer, and then a hand comes down, and you go up the fucking chewing cud of the gross gym teacher, and he's just chewing on whatever the fuck he's chewing on.
Chew.
And he takes
Or dip
him
or whatever.
to the school, and he makes him run laps.
Weird.
It is very
Very
weird, but at this point, I think we've all already recognized the telltale sign that Freddy is nearby, which is glowing red lights. If you ever
Everywhere.
see a glowing red light in this movie, you know that Freddy is nearby.
People are always going towards them because they're like, "Ooh, nothing malicious or horrible could
Well,
happen
a lot
at that
of
red light."
actually, a lot of the time, people aren't going near them. They're just in the background, like they're just glowing in the distance. Like Freddy's like, "All right, so I gotta get into that kid's body and then kill that motherfucker." Like that's like he's just trying to like jump in.
This keeping this scene and then like the scene at the pool party at the end, you realize that what they did with this version of Freddy is he possesses people, but he's also poltergeist. He can fuck with things in the room, which I don't think really happens anymore. It didn't happen in the first one. He was just trying to like use dreams to get out of the hell world. In this one,
And I think this whole scene is just an excuse to pop off fucking balls in a dude's face. Like,
Yeah.
just volleyball, dodgeball, tennis ball. And the guy's like,
I don't hate
like,
this.
getting hit by balls the whole time.
I don't hate
This
this.
is so gay. This is very gay. That's what I think's happening. But go on, Jason.
Oh, there wasn't much more to that. I really just wanted to point out that I think that, like I was saying, this is the season of the witch of the series because it like he fully is a completely different version of himself. I don't know how we saw, like I know he possesses Jesse and becomes himself, and he's using Jesse sort of as an avatar, but we fully see other people see Freddy Krueger reaping havoc in the real world. They see him in the
Well, maybe
real
that's
world.
us seeing that. Maybe they're seeing Jesse.
So I think that
No,
when he
I think
jumps
that
through
they're. I think that they're
when he
seeing
jumps through
Freddy.
the window. When he jumps through the window,
Yeah.
that's like they've fully melded together, and they're like he's got Jesse at that point. Everything before that is Freddy just being like, me, I can open this, I can do that, I can do this, I can do that. It's like he's just like Beetlejuice style, like hitting stuff to throw at people, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then within the scene, this scene where the
towels?
no, the towels, but like also the skipping ropes like go around his hands and pull him in, and Jesse is like watching in the showers, and he doesn't do anything. He doesn't go up and try to help. He's just watching, and he sees him get pulled up, and the steam gets very thick, very misty, and then the steam goes away, and Jesse's gone, and then Freddy Krueger is there. What do you think that means, man? What do you think that means, Kalen? What do you think that means, Jason?
I think he's trying to fight his urges.
I think it was
trying to fight his urges. He is trying to fight his urges.
I think he's literally trying to fight his urges, but also in the context of the movie, we still think it's all a dream until the next scene when the police officer's like, I found your kid wandering around the streets. Do something with him. And that scene is for us to have that first inkling of like, yeah, this is a dream, but like it seems a little bit like he just morphed into Freddy, and why is the kid obviously just did the killing, because we just see his back get scraped by the claw hand, and then it zooms back and it shows Jesse with the claw hand, and he's kind of like, what have I done? And you have to kind of be like, what did you do?
And then the next morning it's confirmed when they go to school.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. The subtext is absolutely what Kalen said, that Steve was at. Steve's looking for the subtext here. And yeah.
Aggressive subtext.
I can't find my subtext. Where did it go?
He's fighting the urges for the first two acts of the movie until he finally succumbs to his Freddy Krueger. Wait, is Freddy him fully realizing he's a homosexual, or I think I'm lost a little bit in the sauce.
Okay, so this is a thing that we probably should discuss, because it's not 100% open to interpret. Like, it is open.
It's open to interpretation, but I don't know if the director and the right. Was it the director's choice to make one of the first non-John Waters queer cinema films, or was it the writer's room? Like the writer of the script, the screenplay, who was like, I'm making this gay because I'm gay.
Exactly.
I'm making this gay as shit, and nobody's ever going to realize it for another 50 years.
It is hard to say.
A lot of denial.
The writer went through a lot of denial, like Kalen says.
Okay.
And it's hard to say. But I think that in that scene, Jesse is looking at what's going on. Freddy is presenting him with a opportunity of gay sex, and listen, if you want to laugh, it's fine. But
it was shock. I was laughing because it was shocking. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
And I think that like he is looking at it and he wants to do it, but he also is like, no, I'm not going to do it. And so when he says no, I'm not going to do it, Freddy comes out and just kills the guy, being like, well, there's your fucking opportunity gone, bitch.
Because the actual villain Freddy...
You could have fucked him, but you didn't.
And
now he's dead.
The actual villain Freddy Krueger in this film, the rule is that he feeds off fear. So that's perfect. That makes perfect sense.
But he's also he's feeding off of the fact that Jesse wants to do these things.
Yeah.
And anytime that he
Which is part of his fear of coming out, you know?
Yeah, anytime he can't do it, Freddy shows up and is like, well, all right, I'll just destroy that thing. The opportunity you had is now destroyed.
The kiss of a woman kills Freddy. That's okay. Cool. Cool. You can laugh if you want to, but I just kind of...
No, I'm laughing because I'm like, yeah, you get it. That's why I'm laughing.
I didn't.
You get it.
I didn't take it. I was still with Kaylin on aggressive subtext. I didn't fully grasp the allegory until you broke down this particular scene a little bit further.
Well, I can break down the other one too if you want. If we want to just jump to it, we can do it. But there's also the scene where he is at the pool party, which is just as poignant. If you guys want to talk about it.
Well, okay, so
we'll keep going in order or whatever.
I think going in order though, like it just some more stuff happens. You know, like one non-gay like gay subtext thing that I thought was funny was that like the birds have to go to sleep now. The dad like puts the birds to sleep, and I thought they were in a dream. I thought they were in a dream then, but what I realized is that Freddy went into the dream of the bird and killed the other bird, and then the bird flew the coop and exploded into flames. And then the next morning, the dad's like, "You must have did something. You must have put a firecracker in the bird, or I know what it was. It was a cherry bomb." And I was like, "That's just
so like what? Fed the bird a cherry bomb?"
Yeah, and it caused it to kill the other bird and explode midair into flames. The dad is just like, my son might be a homosexual, and I don't know how to deal with it. He needs a methadone clinic.
Yeah.
He thinks he's on drugs.
Yeah, a methadone clinic is where you go for heroin.
All right, Kaylin, I could do the whole gay parents thing, but maybe we should go on to the. Do we want to just go step by step, or do you want to like go into different?
I mean, we still have like a half hour. We could.
Right.
You're the host. Do it the way you want to do it, just as long as you know.
No, Jason, I like that because like it's also like showing that the house is the toaster goes up in flame. Which is the craziest thing I ever saw in my life. But he blames the birds blowing up on his son for putting cherry bombs inside the birds, which is like wacky. It's whack. Why would you do that?
Also, when did he light it? You were there.
All right.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. I'm gonna talk.
He was the first person to do the Nelly Band-Aid.
And he keeps that Band-Aid on for the rest of the movie too.
It was a little nick.
If you put a cherry bomb in a bird, it wouldn't freak out and start swiping at everybody, and then explode into flames. Sorry, I'm hung up.
Also,
I know, but I gotta talk about this for a second here.
I gotta do it.
You guys probably have never had queer fear from your parents. I assume neither of you.
No, I get the impression that my mom kind of wishes I was gay because she wanted me to be a mama's boy so bad. And my dad, when I was that age, he might have been like, "Urgh," but he would have been like, "Well, I'm glad you told me, son. Let's get a beer."
My mom wanted
a dildo. Do you like dildos, son? I assume.
No. Come on.
I got put in fashion shows.
I don't know. That's how I feel about this conversation so far. Go on.
That's it. She put me in fashion shows. She wanted a daughter.
Wait, what? Kaylin, your mom put you in fashion shows?
Yeah, she used to like put on fashion shows back in the day.
You should go into therapy show for that one.
Therapy show.
Jesus Christ.
You need to unwrap.
Kaylin's like dressed as a doll, like ding ding, and he's like.
He's dressed as the doll from Megan, doing the fucking...
No, I got a picture of me looking like Prince. I got this like velour burgundy jacket with this frilly thing. It's dope.
My cousins used to... Okay, so I do have one story that is sort of adjacent to this. My cousins used to like to dress me up in their dresses and shit, and then we'd put on like shows, like the meme that like at Thanksgiving all the kids put on like a dumb show. Well, they used to do that to me at every sleepover, and then like present me to like the parents, like, do your little dance, Jason, with a wig on. And my dad for a long time thought like, oh god, they're gonna turn him gay, but that, as we know, that's not how that works. But he did have a little bit of like that gay panic when I was a kid, but the thing is now his wife's son is an out of the closet homosexual man, so he's like, even though he's like 60, he's very much like gets it now. You know what I mean?
You guys, come on. You are perpetuating weird fears right now.
I know.
Like,
I'm
you're saying
telling you.
things that-
I'm Freddy Krueger's.
If I
I
was
thought you were
dressed in a
asking
dress,
that.
it
I
makes
thought
me
you were
get like
asking that.
that's.
No, I'm telling you how it doesn't. I just said we all know that's not how that works. But my dad was
know.
afraid. I'm not perpetuating it. I'm telling a story that's adjacent to what you were saying.
I believe you were about to say something, Stephen.
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
What I was gonna do was I was going to show how these parents in this movie are affluent in the terms of homophobia.
I thought you were going to
The
say
dad.
affluent as in money because they were not. This house was probably $50,000
It was
in
a steal.
1985. Yeah.
Well, that's too expensive for that. For
No,
the
okay.
history of it.
This house without there being a murder suicide in it was 50,000.
Right,
They
right.
probably got it for $20K.
Sorry, go ahead, Stephen.
Was it? What did I say this time?
I think he was trying to say something, and then we started talking.
So, when he screams several times, the dad ignores it and says, "Oh, nothing. He screams again. The dad, but the mom is like, "Is everything okay? It keeps going on that way for a while, and the dad ignores it and ignores it and ignores it until it becomes noticed by the neighborhood, which is when he's brought home in a blanket, and that's when the dad starts to be like, okay, and like he has had like a scratch from the bird or whatever, and he blamed the son for the bird, and he's starting to understand it. The mom is a little bit more accepting, but she thinks he needs to be medicated, right? She's like, medication. He just needs to go to, like a
Conversion
therapist
therapy?
or whatever. Yeah. And the dad is like, he just needs a good kick in the ass or whatever. And they're both kind of like acting like homophobic parents.
Well, he
Gotcha.
also he thinks he's on drugs. He's like he needs to go to a methadone clinic.
No, that's the surface level, but then the aggressive subtext.
Oh yeah.
That's exactly what Kaylin's right, man. That's exactly what it feels like when you say shit to your parents and they don't understand. They jump to conclusions that aren't actually real.
They frame it a different way. They try to they don't want to call it that. It's like no, it's this, or you can. Well, let's go get you some help or whatever. Like something's broken when there's nothing broken.
Exactly.
I'm broken.
Kaylin gets it. Kaylin knows what he's talking about. Jason, you gotta let Kaylin talk about this more. But I don't really understand how people can watch this movie and not see that shit, right? Like, how do you not see it? It's like, so it's on the surface. It's right there. It's right there for you to look at. Anyway, Grady tries to stop a gay thing and then he dies. That's what I'm.
Can I mention one thing that happened earlier? Did you guys catch when? So Jason, you mentioned when he was stuffing his face with food, talking about. So he says, no, I think Lisa's friend asked if he's coming to the pool party. He's like, nope, I'm grounded. Pushed my grandmother down a flight of stairs.
He was kidding.
I thought that was maybe a Freddy thing. Like maybe he also, you know what I mean? Like
No.
if Freddy's not just messing with Jesse, maybe Freddy made him do
That'd be
that.
kind of fun though.
That was a dark.
If Freddy was just like, I got in somehow.
That was a dark. That was just a dark joke. That was an extremely dark joke, for sure. Which I laughed out loud.
But he seems so serious. He seems so honest.
No, he doesn't. He's slamming his face, already filled mouth with food, and people are prying, and he's a jokester.
Yeah, he's actually not able to talk the whole time.
He's a
barfing out food,
comedian.
yeah.
We did skip over kind of a crucial scene where Lisa and Jesse have the diary, and they go to the site of the final battle. They go up to the I guess it's like what kind of a plant did you say it would be? An ironworks?
Like a
Power
steel
plant.
mill.
Steel
or
mill?
like-
No, I think she said it was an old power plant.
Yeah.
It didn't look like a power plant, but I think that's what she called it.
But they go
And they
there,
go to the boiler room.
and it's real spooky, and then they don't find anything. I guess I wanted
A
to
mouse
bring it up.
or a rat.
Yeah, I wanted to bring it up because it is sort of. Is that where
That's where they go at the end of the movie. That's where
Yeah,
they
I
fight.
understand that, but is that where the town folk gathered around and
I don't
murdered
think so.
Freddy?
I think that was just them establishing like this is where the fight's going to be later.
Okay, because I thought that Freddy Krueger was murdered in like the basement of the school. Like they threw him in the fucking oven for being a child.
School be burnt down then.
Child. No, they threw him into the. They killed him and threw him into the boiler.
Right. Right.
For being a
Burned.
pervert against children.
All right. I'm realizing my notes are all gay notes. Every note I wrote.
Look. This is a gay as fuck movie, but there is like a plot
all right,
that
fine.
happens
Let's
too.
go. Okay. So he gets to the pool party. Can we go to the pool?
Let's
party?
go to the pool party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys keep going. I'll be right back.
Okay. Jason, you keep going. I'll be right back too.
Wait.
I'm just kidding. I'm here.
So this movie is the straightest movie ever, and everybody that thinks it's gay is too super not. I'm sorry. But so what
They
happened?
want to jerk off to normal porn.
Yeah, I sent Steve to a conversion therapy camp, and now he only wants to look at straight porn.
I only want to look at the normal porn.
You're the one saying normal, not me. I said. Is that what straight people look like to you? Well, that's more like you took an ice pick to the brain through a lobotomy. He's getting taken over by Freddy. Your arm bursts into a fucking Freddy hand. Which is the scene that I want to talk about extensively because that's coming up. That's coming up through this pool party.
I realized that I should have talked about all these gay scenes in order, like right after each other, because it's crazy if you look at them in order. Actually.
Well, go to where you left off and tell me about all the gay scenes.
All right, Peter, Beater, and Thumper. Jeez, who's Thumper?
Who is Thumper? Thumper, I think, is somebody's nickname.
No, I made it up.
Oh. Okay. What an evil genius he is. What an evil genius this man is.
No, I want to talk about when he kisses the girl. I want to talk about when he goes to his best friend Grady.
Yeah.
And I want to revert that back to when he wants to fuck his coach. But
okay. So the diary mentions the power plant for some reason, and then they go there because she's like, Lisa's like, it's, I don't believe any of that mumbo jumbo. However, you might be getting psychic beams from Freddy since you can turn into him.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense.
And I was like, so, yeah, he believes it's psychic signals. And then I wrote, it's cool that Freddy's taking control of Jesse and making him kill. Nope, not going to say that after what we've talked about. I think they go to the abandoned warehouse. Yeah, psychic abilities.
We're at the pool party.
Yeah, I'm just making sure. We skipped over the part where, like, Jesse's just, like, slamming caffeine pills to stay awake, which is a trope through the rest of the movies, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a thing that happens in every fucking Freddy movie. Do we need to talk about it? Like,
And they always fall asleep anyway.
Yeah, every single time. Like, who cares? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, okay, so we're at the pool party.
I have a quick question.
The dad is playing, hey, did you get a kick in the hair? Oh, it's me, Frank Sinatra. Did you know that you like swimming in pools? No! Squibbity-bidoo-bidoo-bidoo-bidoo.
You kids better not do any premarital sex or listen to the pop music of the era. You better only eat chips and eat hot dogs. Look at these hot dogs, they're laid out perfectly.
Did you notice he was wearing looked like hospital scrubs as PJs?
I thought they were gonna do like some sort of hospital kill with that. You mean earlier in the movie where he's wearing?
He goes down to get like a drink of water or something like late at night.
Like
and he's
that,
wearing like
I thought was a dream, but now like isn't a dream.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure.
Where did you go? Did he go to the? Did he say something?
I think he's pee-pooing. Yeah, I think he went pee-poo.
Yeah.
Also, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Maybe. There's a line when Jesse asks Grady if he remembers his dreams, and he's like, "Whoa,
oh, he
is
just
Steve
left
gone?"
completely.
I don't think he left completely. His shit must have broke down or something. Minor interlude, folks. Minor interlude.
Anyway, well, no, keep saying what you were going to say.
So Jesse asked Grady, "Do you remember your dreams?" And Grady says, "Only the wet ones." I've heard that somewhere. I've been racking my brain trying to remember where I've heard that. It's
From
in
this
another movie.
Or
no. I've heard it somewhere else though. Like, I'm sure I've heard it somewhere else. And like I picture almost like a Robert Downey Jr. or a Vince Vaughn or
I could see
like,
Vince. I could see Vince Vaughn saying that in like Maid or Wedding Crashers.
I can't remember though. I've been racking my brain all week trying to. I even tried to Google it, like movie quote, "Only the wet ones" or whatever, but it just came up with this one.
You just found a whole bunch of porn.
I have this image in my mind though, like that memory of I've heard it somewhere. I can see someone. I think they're wearing a suit. His computer died. I think they're wearing like a suit or something. It's like some business guys or something. I don't know, but I swear I've heard that line somewhere in a newer movie. I'm wondering if they got it from this.
Probably. So since we can just kind of talk about whatever, at the beginning of this movie when they're in the school bus teetering, do you remember the episode of South Park where they're in a school bus that's teetering on a cliff?
Now that's what I call sticky wasted.
Exactly. And if they go outside, they get eaten by the monster. I wonder if Trey Parker and Matt Stone took inspiration from this because it involves a bunch of dream-like scenarios during it.
Yeah, that's true.
But it always just ends in them eating ice cream. And then there's the subplot of the school bus driver like going to Hollywood and becoming a famous celebrity or whatever, famous comedian.
Ooh, yeah, connecting dots. I like it. Yo, Jason's conspiracy what's your thing? Your
conspiracy corner or whatever, theory corner.
Yeah. Also, for my segment, no movie title shout out.
Well, they do say Elm Street a bunch of times.
they do say Elm Street. I'll give them that.
I don't think that constitutes. I don't think you could be like. Well, I'm surprised they didn't say it's Freddy's Revenge, but also because this movie.
They could have snuck that in. They could have easily snuck that. Like after reading the
Freddy's
diary,
Revenge.
Like, oh no, Freddy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because this movie, when I was a kid, I remember people just referred to this movie as Freddy's Revenge. Because the next movie doesn't come out till like 88, and it's the Dream Warriors, which is like, that's the one everybody remembers. That's the, like, I almost want to do, I think, did I mention this last week? But I want to do like Halloween in the spring, because I want to do the threequels. I want to do the third movie in all of these franchises. Yeah. Because.
In the spring?
Just call it Halloween in the spring.
Okay,
well, we're going to open the Grimoire one more time before the holiday.
I'm okay with that. And then we can do something different on October.
But yeah, we could also do like really bad horror movies for the following year, or like newer horror movies, or the fourth ones in the series. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah.
So, but I want to do the third one because it seems like the first two of all of these franchises are the like, let's figure out all the ideas. But the thing is like, then we get to the season of the witch, Halloween, which is
That one
not
takes
even
a tangent.
it's
That
not
one
even
goes-
canon to the series at all. It's just they wanted to make Halloween into an anthology series. So the first movie in the anthology series immediately killed that idea. Immediately. Just a bunch of Halloween masks fucking
Yeah,
take
stupid.
over your
Where's
face.
Michael? Where's Michael?
He didn't attack that year.
Exactly, stupid.
Yeah. But then they were like, we'll never do that again.
This movie?
What?
Can we Muppetize this movie?
We could probably Muppetize this movie. So I think Fozzie should be Freddy.
That'd be a funny Freddy.
I think Fozzie could be Freddy. I think Kermit is Jesse and Miss Piggy is Lisa.
Okay.
I think Grady's Gonzo.
I'll give that.
And let's see. The dad is probably the fucking owl.
The Mr. Eagle. The red, the blue,
Or the eagle. The mom is I don't know. The mom could be like the band, the chick in the band.
The chick with the lips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because she's like kind of a space case.
Yeah.
And then the teacher, the coach, is like
Ooh. It'll be both of the guys. The
Waldorf
guys
and Waldorf and fucking yeah. That would make sense. That's pretty good. And then you would have, how do you fit? What's the rat's name?
Rizzo.
How do you fit Rizzo into this? Because Rizzo to me is canon, like he's necessary because of the Muppets.
He could be Jesse's friend. Like we could just add a friend for Jesse, like a sidekick friend.
That's true. Rizzo could also be like the friend of like
Lisa.
Of Lisa's homie. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much all the role. Like that's pretty much all the speaking roles in the movie.
Yeah.
Like all the main characters. That's weird when you break down a movie like that. Like movies only have like 8 characters.
Yeah.
When you think of a production of a film, when you think of like the whole cast, you see like this massive cast. But really, most movies are just like 10 people doing, 15 scenes together. Yeah. Man, where's this man?
His computer died.
I know, but
I don't know why his computer isn't. Doesn't a computer need a wire to be alive?
No, his computer. I think his computer has like.
It's wireless.
No, like I think it has. No, it didn't die as in like the battery died.
Oh.
He's got a PC, and I think the heatsink is fried on it, so it just overheats and turns off on its own. That's why it's so sudden.
Yeah.
And it happens randomly, so.
I believe your shirt is a wrestling shirt, but it reminds me of The Thing, the cover of The Thing.
The Thing, my dad's friend when I was camping at his trailer this year was like, "Oh, you got a Kenny G shirt there, eh? Kenny G." It's like, no, it's clearly says Omega. God, it's a good, cool Kenny G
there's a G
shirt.
in the middle.
No, it's an Omega symbol.
Yeah, but there's a G right there in Omega.
Oh yeah, okay. If you go like, oh look, it's Freddy Krueger. There we go.
Yeah.
It's backwards. Do you like my Kenny G shirt? This podcast is devolved now.
No, I don't like it, bitch.
Oh, you got a hat.
Take that shirt off,
You already have
bitch.
that hat.
Is that hat on or is it a fucking?
No, that's a filter.
It's on, bitch.
Is that a filter?
You don't know.
I can't.
And you'll never know,
I honestly
bitch.
cannot tell if that's a.
It's moving in a weird way. I
Who
can't tell.
knows?
It's
Nothing
sitting on
knows.
top. It's sitting.
Bitch.
It's sitting on top of the. It's sitting on top of
I'll
the.
sit on top of you, bitch.
You're the best Freddy Krueger around, Steve.
Does that make you a top?
Oh God.
That's some low-hanging fruit, bitch.
All right. So the kids go to this pool party, bitch. He doesn't say bitch in this whole fucking movie. I was waiting for it. He even went up against a girl in a fist fight and didn't even call her bitch. That's his favorite move. Bitch.
What? All right, so
Oh,
the
it's 'cause of the
gayest moments
headphones.
in this movie, bitch.
No,
case you-
I didn't jump out just to do this. This is like a. All right, sorry, my computer died.
It's all good. Let's
Bitch.
get
Okay,
get
so-
to the end of this movie because we're almost
All right.
we're almost there.
I know. The pool party. So the moment at the pool party that is the most significant is when they go into the cabana together.
Yeah.
And she wants to kiss him, and he's like, no, leave me alone. And she keeps pressing onto him, and she says, no. But he eventually subsides and joins into the kissing. And he starts to kiss her neck, he starts to kiss her chest, he starts to kiss her breasts, and he like goes down, and then she closes her eyes and a huge tongue comes out of his fucking mouth.
Was that a
That
metaphor
scene-
for something?
It doesn't matter. That's the most shocking moment in the whole movie to me. That actually made me go, oh, like feel that like when
it was gross.
the same
yeah.
feeling as like when in the wheelchair kid got slashed in the face in the last movie, so out of nowhere and so like for just 1 second. That made me feel the same visceral like shock, like worse
just
than any
taste.
worse than any gore.
Gosh.
That was actually the jump scare that got me.
I think it's interesting because it's also like the only moment where he is giving into heterosexuality.
Oh, okay.
Where
Subtext.
fucking-
Aggressive.
Freddie is not like,
Let's kill.
he's like, let's lick, let's get licky with it. So it's not that Freddie is his gayness, it's that Freddie represents his gayness.
Yeah.
So like,
And his like conversion to acceptance, I guess, which kind of sucks because of the way the movie ends.
I think that it's more like Jesse is gay and he wants to have sex with people, but Jesse is trying to revert into like, no, I'm not, and so that's when it lets Freddie go and be like, oh yeah, you're not, so and like starts killing everybody, and like this is him being like, this is what I'm supposed to do, and Freddie's like,
Yeah, you are supposed to do it, you stupid fucking bitch.
and he's like, no, but I also don't want to do it. Like, I don't want to do this. And like, so he's reverting from that as well. And like, and then that's when Freddy goes bananas. Like, that's when he is loosed on.
But
the
like,
party.
Freddy's the bad guy, so could it be that maybe this is
So what I'm saying, I'm
the
not saying that
sentiment
Freddy
is anti-homosexual then?
I mean, it is at the end of the movie. It totally is. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, the thing that defeats Freddy is the kiss of a fucking woman.
Yeah,
So, like,
almost like he's the fucking turned into a frog. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, which is kind of sad.
which kind of sucks. They should do a sequel to that 2010 Freddy Krueger that's a shot-for-shot remake of this, but it's the opposite, where hetero people
Yeah,
are
and
trying to
there's just, like,
fucking
two gay guys like fucking each
Yeah.
other so hard in the ass. And they're like, yes, this is how we defeat Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. And Freddy's like, I hate the gays.
And then he's like, ah, chops both their heads off. No, it is sad, but at the same time, like, it's progressive.
And representation does matter.
Time for sure.
Regardless, representation is
it's
important.
Not, yeah, it's not necessarily that it has to be represented in a great way. It's just that it has to be represented, because seeing people that are different from you is just as important as
And it's
seeing
not.
people who are the same.
It's
as
not
you.
overt. Like aggressive subtext is the kind of the name of the game here, and it's not overtly anti-homosexual. It's not overtly homosexual. It just can, looking at it through a different light, presents this entirely different buffet of thoughts and
I love
theories.
buffets.
Yeah,
well,
it's a buffet of cock. Yes.
But like this buffet of fucking man sausage.
You know what? You know what's on my bucket list? I want to make a buffet place scared of me to come back.
Like Homer Simpson style.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's probably pretty easy.
But like that, like the what's it, like the neon sign of the guy like flipping shrimp into like a
That's the all you can eat fish place from the fucking flounder episode, or the pufferfish episode, which is a very, very moving episode. It's funny they went from that to hey guys, it's the characters from Portlandia are in town and they have a weird son. It got bad. Having a new celebrity on each week was not the way The Simpsons should have gone. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox about The Simpsons. I'll never watch The Simpsons, even though there's 3 seasons or whatever.
Listen, I made my dad watch the Hank Scorpio episode
Yeah, an amazing
2 weeks
episode.
ago, and it was like the best thing that I
You also watched the John Waters episode with him, as I recall.
I did.
Zap.
Yeah. Anywho, so he ran away from...
He goes to his best friend Grady's.
And he goes to Grady's house, and Grady immediately is like, "What the heck is wrong with you, man? I don't understand what's wrong with you." And like, you know, like a traditional movie would have set these two guys up as bullies, but like he just goes right to him as his like best pal, which is, I don't know if you've ever had a best pal. This is what it is. Like, have you ever run to your best pal before?
Yeah.
Confided in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was too scared they'd call me gay.
And he did call him gay in this
Yeah.
scene, even.
It's like, what are you doing?
And you know what he wasn't worried about was him being called gay, because he was way more worried about fucking Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger chest bursting out of his chest.
He's like, I don't care if you call me gay, I just need your help. And then he's like, all right, okay, all right, I will help you. What do you need me to do? And like, all he asks is that you don't fall asleep and that you make sure
that's a pretty big ask.
Oh God. So Jason, if me and you ever get attacked by Freddy Krueger, never go to Kaylin to
don't do it. I fall asleep.
Stay
I'm
away.
the first person to fall asleep in my
It's
friend
true.
group.
I've seen him. I've been at Kaylin's place at like 3 o'clock
I've
in the
seen
morning.
it too. You stayed at my house that one time. We were watching Hellboy 1. And it was like, and you're like, should we watch Hellboy 2 or Hellboy 1 first? And it was like, Hellboy 1, obviously. And you're like, all right. And then you put it on, and you were like, oh, what is he? Some sort of Hellboy?
But Jason, you can attest to this. I don't drop my drink.
No, that's true. I've seen him fall asleep.
I
with
can
his
also
fucking
attest
beer.
to this.
Like,
He did not drop this. I took it out of your hand.
Did I get pissed off?
You said,
Did I
hey,
wake
what
up?
do you do? You know, you said, hey, what are you doing with that? And I was like, hey, you're falling asleep, and I'm going to put it over here. And if you want to drink it later, it's right here. And I put it right next to your head. You did not drink it. Again. You woke up and left before I woke up.
Kaylin was ready to party so hard that night, and by the time I left at like, I had like 2 beers, and I left at like 11:30, and Kaylin was already ready to just fucking. If you want to watch that episode, you can go. It's on our video on demand on Twitch. You can go back and you can see the whole thing happen. Like you can see you can watch me and Steve be sober,
deterioration, and
Kaylin just get wasted for 2 hours. It's great. It's no Buster Keaton, but it's there.
Oof.
Anyway, we gotta take her home, buddy.
All right. So we went to Grady's house, where it was also very gay, obviously. Well, the thing that I wanted to say is that when he was making out with her, the tongue came out, which is like obviously Freddy being like, "Yeah, let's go for a girl." And then when he went back to Grady's house, it was once again gay. And Grady even says like several things, like she wants to, she wants to have sex with you, and you're here at my house. Why the fuck are you here? And he's like,
Because I can't. My gay urges are gonna burst out of my chest at any minute. Don't
and
fall
you need
asleep.
to control my gay urges.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, less literally. He's just like, you're my friend, and I don't want to kill her, so help me. And then he ends up killing him.
And then so this scene I did want to talk about a little bit at length, because of the special effect here was really cool. So Grady falls asleep almost immediately, right? Jesse falls asleep.
No,
he
he
needs to sleep.
sleeps
I know.
through
I'm going to talk about it. Jesse falls asleep. Grady does his best. He's like, I'm going the fuck to sleep because he's fine. They go to sleep. Fucking Jesse wakes up and starts to fucking Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde into fucking Freddy. But what happens is we get this cool like effect of Freddy's face coming out of Jesse's stomach, and then his arm starts to turn into Freddy's, like, it doesn't turn into gore.
It rips open almost.
It rips open to reveal Freddy's fucking sweater and his gross, like what I learned from this movie is Freddy's not always wearing a glove that has like a little metal part over the finger. Sometimes the claw is his hand, right?
Wolverine.
It's always his hand. Yeah, it's always his hand.
Oh, okay. So anyway, it's just sometimes he's got like the glove part over it, but then we get this the most horrific scene, and weirdly, it's not like gory. It's just really like it's body horror, unsettling. Freddy Krueger fucking bursts out of his chest, stands up, and they only show it for a second, and I thought it was both the campiest bad like practical effect, but shown for just a short enough amount of time that if you're not looking directly at it, it's perfect. It reminds me a lot of The Thing, some of the practical effects in The Thing, and you know what I mean. So if you don't look directly at it, it looks awesome. Like out of your peripheral vision, those practical gore effects look great. I just looked right at it and I was like, oh, maybe because what they could have done is they could have had the actor that played Jesse like back against the wall and then like built a thing in front of him, but they probably didn't have the. They probably didn't.
No,
have the
I think
money.
that's
I mean, what they could have done now is, I mean, they could have done it back then as well, but they hadn't really figured out horror angles, right? Like, you can literally put like a macro lens on something that pulls it into focus of like the hand coming out, and you could have all that out of focus, right?
Yeah.
Like that head out of focus in the background, and it would look so much scarier.
I just looked directly down the barrel at what I interpreted as a bad effect, but the thing is in my memory,
it's not a bad effect. It's
I know
it's at the wrong part of the screen.
Yeah, in my memory, it looks fine. So that's what really matters.
And even in my memory, I watched it today. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's kind of spooky. Like his like teeth, like he has like this like, and it's like a shitty head, but like it's still scary. It's a scary head.
So, but yeah, he does unfortunately kill Grady in a very like you don't see what's happening. But when Grady falls,
can I just give my gay take on this scene?
Yeah, do it.
He wanted to fuck Grady.
Got denied.
And he decided, I cannot fuck Grady. And that's why Freddy Krueger was like, I gotta get out of here. And I'm gonna fuck Grady.
With murder.
Fucked Grady up. He killed Grady.
And actually, now that you mention it, he really he holds Grady up against the door and just inserts his claws into him and just goes like if you look at the cut on Grady as he falls off the wall, it's this big. It's this fucking big. It's like this big. It's just like just enough to kill him. Then the police come immediately. Fucking Jesse's covered in blood and Jesse bounces. He goes to Lisa's. Lisa's like, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. There's no problem to worry about. And Jesse goes, I'm literally covered in blood. Like, how could you deny?
How do you know that?
I mean, look.
Yeah. I'm covered in blood.
I'm scared.
Yeah. So anyway, back at the pool party, Freddy just starts
I think
hunting.
We're beyond the pool party now.
Well, it does that thing where it cuts back and forth. Kind of. And then Jesse turns into Freddy and attacks Lisa. The kids at the party are being poltergeisted. The kids... I wrote, the kids get boiled in the pool, because the first time I see it happen, I was like, boil in the pool? Doesn't happen. They all see Freddy. Freddy is in world at this point. There's a scene in the house that I thought was really cool, where Lisa and Freddy actually like encounter each other after Jesse like is fully morphed into Freddy at that point.
Yeah, and they
and
have, like, a standoff.
she grabs a knife and she stabs him, but it just
It's not
like
working,
bounces, which I thought was cool to show that like he's impervious to any sort of real world item.
Real world damage, yeah.
The kids don't boil and Jesse jumps through the window and disappears, but then reappears and starts causing more havoc. He lights the pool on fire. He heats up the fence. The special effect of the fence heating up looked like the orange part of the Ghostbusters beam, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
It reminds
the kid like, oh, my hands.
I really like how we're seeing these. They basically, to make the Ghostbuster beam, they took all of the special effects of the 80s and made them into a beam. Because you see these little colors, you see the color effects. They had like 3 colors they could use, it seems like. It's kind of like when you see somebody going down a cyber tunnel, it's always the same cyber tunnel. It's always like... It's hard to explain if you don't know what I'm talking about, but it's a very specific thing that happens in a lot of movies where somebody falls through a tunnel. I'm sure they have one CGI tunnel that they built at some point in the 90s that they just use for everything. Everyone is losing.
Jason's hot takes.
I got the hot takes. Everybody is losing it, and Freddy's just murdering indiscriminately. The dad tries to get a gun and shoots it wildly. Fucking missing.
Oh yeah, this the dad shotgun moment is maybe something we should talk about.
Okay, yeah.
He pulls open his chest of bullets and guns, and he goes down. And
he breaks the fucking glass. He breaks the glass.
He does.
On the
grimoire.
Right,
Does he have a grimoire of guns and bullets?
No, an armoire, I think is what you're thinking.
Armoire.
A grimoire is a book.
A grimoire is like a book. It's not a... Did he break open his grimoire of bullets and madness and guns? So he came down and he aimed directly at Freddy. And we're all thinking, all right, Freddy's going to get hit. He's going to do something crazy. Miss.
No, just
miss.
Fires wildly. Tries to fire again, and Lisa grabs the gun and she's like, that's Jesse. Don't fucking...
That's my boyfriend.
Shoot guns out.
And this is my favorite part of the movie where
the dork
Freddy the dork is like, hey man,
trying to level with a ghoul.
It's me. Fucky. My name's Fucky.
Hey.
Fucky Artichucky, and I know you don't believe it.
I know you're having a bad day there, freaky face man. But why don't you put
Freddy's
the clouds down?
What?
This guy for real, bitch.
He just
Just
gets shot in the shoulder, and then he walks to the door and walks through it.
Phases through the hedge.
And the dad's like, what the? Where'd he go? And there's a nice burn, and that's some Terminator shit that I love. Somebody walking through a thing and then it's not completely destroyed. It's a ghost. He's a good ghost, right?
So we get basically the same ending as Friday the 13th, where it's just somebody sneaking around for
I hate
10 minutes.
I hate this ending.
What I do want to point out about this ending... What I do want to point out about this ending is the weirdness of her showing up to the warehouse. Lisa goes to... She's like, obviously he's at the... I kept calling it a warehouse in my notes. It's a power plant. Lisa goes to the power plant. She's like, obviously because of our earlier encounter, that's where he's going to be. The dogs with human faces caught me so off guard.
Were they wearing masks?
I laughed out loud. I was like, what is this? What the fuck is this?
I think that's a precursor to the later movies where Freddy Krueger can transmutate into things. Transmorph into things, and I think even though they looked like human faces, I think
they were sleeping. Maybe the dogs were sleeping.
I think they were supposed to be Freddy Krueger faces.
Here's what it actually is: stupid. It's dumb.
No, absolutely. But I think it was supposed to be Freddy Krueger faces. It just didn't.
It stretched out and it made it look like baby faces. And
exactly.
Let's just move on from it.
Exactly.
And they didn't even bite or anything. They just were like.
So during the kerfuffle, Freddy Krueger did bite Lisa on the leg. She gets an itch. She looks down at her wound, and it's covered in fucking ants, which was
itchy ants.
Fire ants.
Yeah. She sees a rat scurry, and then get eaten by like a mutant cat, which is just like, what is happening in this place? Why is this all of a sudden so fucking weird?
At this point, I actually out loud said, "What is happening here?"
Also, they don't call him Freddy ever in this movie. They call him Fred every single time.
Fred.
I hate that too. His name's not Fred; it's Freddy. Also, just call him Frederick if you're going.
When this movie's not doing aggressive gay subtext, it's fucking dumb. Like, it's bad.
Trying to make Frederick Krueger look like an old man with a pipe.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Frederick Krueger.
And I'm going to kill you, bitch.
And I'm going to stab you, bitch.
And then Fred attacks, and the power of love destroys him. And that's pretty much... Like, she skulks around. They kind of have a back and forth where he's like, the power of fear. And she's like, the power of love. And he's like, the power of love defeats me, and starts bleeding. And
then from above them, you heard, Captain Planet, he's a
and the
hero.
kid from Pakistan shows up. She just is like, and then kisses his freaky face, which I was like, wow. She's out here kissing everybody.
That was a very freaky face and a very freaky kiss.
So he's melting and dying. And then we get the scene from, I think the Ghostbusters may have borrowed from this movie, because Jesse bursts out of a molten shell, much like Rick Moranis and Sigourney Weaver do in the Ghostbusters out of the demon dogs.
My girls speak.
No, it's the he's peeling away his piss, his shit, his grime, and he's inside it.
Yeah, but he's in it. He's in a shell, much like the dogs in the Ghostbusters.
Oh,
film.
Is the shell in Ghostbusters the representation of being closeted? I don't think it is.
I think it's in Ghostbusters. It's more the representation of being like a slut. I think it's more like we banged out.
Oh, so then it is the same thing. You're right. Sorry, yeah.
We banged out on.
And he was like, "Hello."
We banged out on that mysterious gate to hell, cosmic hell, and now we're busting out of our But Sigourney Weaver still went with the old Bill Murray.
Jesse started saying, "Bustin', bustin', bustin', makes me feel good, feel good."
Every
it's
time
a good
I
ending.
mention this
It's a good ending.
before I forget, every time that they said the word, because I just finished Breaking Bad, every time they said Jesse in the movie, I went Jesse, because of Breaking Bad. Jesse, we have to cook. Every single time. I was sitting in my office with headphones on, watching this movie, and they would be like, Jesse. I go, Jesse.
Well,
does anyone ever check on you?
No. It's like I work from home in an office 2 days a week.
there's like people on Jason's window, like, boom, 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 boom. Jason, are you okay? You're like,
Jesse.
we have
to
like on the
cook.
ground, like, Jason, ding, 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 ding.
I got my work done. I watch TV while I work, and I watch this movie. I was able to watch the whole thing.
I just wanted to talk about at the end of this.
Yep.
How much Robert Englund actually defended the actor.
Okay, so let's
Patton?
Let's do this,
Yeah.
Steve. That's basically the end of the movie. We just get a scene that's ambiguous. The only thing that happens after this is a scene that's ambiguous. It's the same as the opening scene.
It's like it's also like, it's the bus driver. It's not Freddy Krueger, and he's like, everyone gets on the bus, and he's like, ha ha ha, and he has like bandages all over his arms for some reason. Or I'm like, I guess your arms got clawed by their own claws coming
when
in.
they ripped open.
Yeah. But then it drives off into the desert, like it goes off the road into the desert, and then it's just like credits.
Yeah, but he's like, I think the bus driver, slow down, bus driver, slow the fuck down. And then like, everyone's like, calm down, man. Like everything's alright. He's like, no, slow the fuck down.
The version that I have just played some fucking like Fallout style music, some like 1950s music.
You didn't get the hand through the chest?
But Jason didn't watch the whole movie.
I did.
I don't think he did.
Hand through
What
the
about
chest.
the hand through the chest?
When? Post credits?
Lisa's friend or whatever.
We all saw that, yeah.
Missed it. What?
You didn't see them being like, slow down, Buster!
Hold on a second.
And then, like, everybody calms down. He's like, I'm sorry. I just, all that Freddy Krueger shit that just happened, like,
Hold on a
throughout
second.
this whole
Yesterday.
movie. And then the lady behind them is like, you guys are such a cute couple. It's like that dark-haired girl that's, like, been through it the whole movie, and she's like, okay. His hand comes out throughout the fucking...
Hold on a second. The viewers at home will be able to hear this because it's coming through the audio. Okay, okay, so they're on the bus. It's going fine, no problem. He's like, uh-oh, this isn't right. No, he's yelling no, the bus is going too fast. Hold on a second. Lisa, it's starting to speed up, it's fine. It's fine. I'm Meryl Streep, but Jesse's losing his mind.
Much younger version.
They
Red
pick
hair.
up the guy. They pick up the regular guy, and it's not Robert Englund.
Hello, it's me, regular guy.
Hello, it's me, a regular guy. Everybody's like, why is this guy freaking out? He's the coolest kid in school. He fought the Dream Master.
It's okay.
It's okay. It'll be all right. I'm your heterosexual life partner. Also, I'm the best friend who bangs you as well. Oh, yep, missed that. 100% missed that. I literally looked away for it.
Well,
Okay.
Jason, now you know there's a Freddy 3 coming at you.
Freddy 3. And then he says, I'll get you,
On that
bitch.
note,
Okay, so...
All right, I'm
weird-
going to take back over. Hello, it's me, Steve, the Throne Master.
I'm ready for my final thoughts, Steve.
All right. I'm going to give Jason his final thought first because he's begging for it.
I'm not begging for it, but I'll tell you about it.
aggressive subtext.
Overall, this movie made me gay. I'm gay now because of this film. 10 out of 5. Just kidding.
I mean, Jason, you were already a 7 out of 5 gay, so it's fine. It just means that it capped you up to the point that we all need you to be.
I've only
We
done
are
gay stuff a few times.
The
Overall, the
gay
movie was
army.
better than the first, but the ending was a super anticlimactic. That's kind of my bad takeaway. It was interesting seeing the gay undertones and with the... See, now this final thought doesn't... After talking about this movie, let me interject my thoughts into the final thoughts I wrote.
Interject yourself.
Before I interrect myself. So, Steve was able to sort of change my view of this movie and bump it up a full half grade, knowing that it means more as queer cinema. Because of things they do in this movie that I didn't pick up on, that somebody who is in the LGBTQ plus community would. You know what I mean? Like I thought you guys were talking about the fact that he's clearly in gay love with his best bud, and there was that weird S&M stuff with the teacher. And I don't mean the S&M stuff was weird. I mean the teacher wanting to have one of his students come to the school was kind of weird.
Oh my god.
What?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. But I liked the movie. I liked the movie a lot. I thought it was cool. I thought it was fun. I thought it was refreshing, especially compared to last week's movie. Friday the 13th was good compared to the first Friday the 13th, but Friday the 13th Part 2 is still kind of a slog when you can watch something like Chucky Part 2 or A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 that are weird and fun. But I will say in my heart of hearts, I really just wanted to see Freddy Krueger dream kill people in different magical ways. That's what I had signed up for, and that's what I was ready for. To get this totally other thing was refreshing and cool and new and weird.
And gay.
And gay. Freddy just needed a host to be Freddy, but that host needed to have a conflict in his heart.
Well, now I'm your host, Jason, and I'm passing it over to Caitlin.
I didn't finish. I didn't give you my rating. God damn it.
I don't give a
I
shit
don't,
about
bitch.
your rating. What is it? 1, 2, 3.
Well, I should tell you. 4? I won't kill you, bitch, if it's over a 3. I do look forward to seeing how they bring him back in the next movie, but they did sort of Jason the ending. They did sort of Friday the 13th the ending, when very ambiguous. Kind of like the first one.
We do that in every ending.
I know, every ending to every horror movie. Who knows? The first Freddy Krueger movie was like the car was possessed for some reason. Anyway, I gave it a solid 3 out of 5, but with your added context, Steve, I bumped it up to a 3.5.
4?
Because 4, bitch.
Oh, he gave it a 4. It's a 4, everyone.
I think it is an important movie for fans of film. I think it's an important movie for fans of horror, and I think it's an important movie because it's just cool. It's just fun, and I had a good time watching it. Over to you, next person.
Kaylin,
Oh, hey.
have you ever watched your own testicles dangle above your head while you prayed for death?
No.
Go on.
Thinking of the logistics of that.
Hard to continue from that.
Bitch.
So my final thoughts. I also enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed this as a standalone movie, like, to kind of piggyback with what you were saying, Jason. There's a perception of like what you think of Nightmare on Elm Street movie is going to be, like you said, dream killing and that sort of thing. And this one does deviate from that, but not in a bad way. It was entertaining. It was, Steve, I believe you mentioned this earlier, progressive for its time. It represented, it gave representation to some that was underrepresented or is underrepresented. But it was entertaining. It was entertaining. On a scale of Nightmare on Elm Street movies, it wasn't what was expected, but I can watch this movie on its own and enjoy it for what it is. I give it a lay with whoever you want, and as long as it's consensual.
Good Lord, Kaylin. Lay with whoever you want. Oh my God. That gives me a lot to think about.
You're thinking about laying with whoever you want, I feel like.
I am. Right now. I'm like, wait a minute.
I'm going to go out on the town and lay with whoever I want.
Man, see?
I think this movie...
Saying lay with whoever you want, though, Kaylin, is kind of an antiquated, steeped in that, like, them gays, they can do whatever they want as long as it doesn't affect me sort of mentality.
I didn't mean it in that way.
I know you didn't. I just...
Kaylin, I did not think it in that way, and Jason, shame on you for putting it that way.
Sorry.
I think that this movie is extremely important to people that are young and old.
That's not what I thought you were going to say there.
You could watch this movie as an old person that has watched every slasher movie ever, and if you hadn't watched this one, you could stumble into it and think, oh, this is progressive, and be like, how old is this? And then realize how old it is and say, oh man, this movie is like telling stories that I didn't think could be told at the time that it was told. And if you're young, you could watch this and be like, oh, this is like an outdated story of what my story is, but it's still there. And I don't think that there would ever be somebody that would stumble into this story and think that it's not representative of what you would want to be told in a horror story. I can't find a break in it that I would think is bloated or weak or fake. And I like it, man. This movie is good, and like it kind of hurts my heart to think that there was like a time where people watch this movie and they're like, this is the gay sequel to fucking Freddy Krueger's like Majesty or whatever. And it's like, fuck you, man. Like, this is great. Like, this is a great movie. Like, it's good. I like that it took the Freddy Krueger story and completely changed it. You look at something like Jason, or you look at something like Chucky, and like they do the same thing again. This one does something completely different. Like it's like, what are we gonna do? He's a dream demon. Okay, so let's do the dreams again. No, let's make him have to crawl into reality. Like somehow he's got to figure out his way into reality, and his way of figuring out how to get into reality is like pulling himself through a fucking teenager who doesn't understand his sexuality. That's fucking cool, man. That's like really cool idea. This movie rocks. And I'm gonna say it rocks. Like that is my fucking rating.
That's your rating?
This movie fucking rocks. Yeah.
Give this movie one rocks.
Did you get your rocks?
Or rules. I'd say it rules. Yeah, it rules. Yeah. But rocks also. Rocks and rules. It rules, man. And if I had to say another thing, I would look on to all of y'all. Low in the sun, as the sun rose and rises and set at the same time, I would say, hey, did you see?
Nope.
Well, I mean, for Kaylin and for Jason and for Steven, me. Would you see this one again?
Well,
did you see this?
You fucking knocked that one on its ass.
For Jason and Steven, I'm Kellen.
For Caleb and Steven, I would rock my ass with this movie again.
Me too.
And I think we just got to ask one thing.
Hello. Oh shit. Hello. Did you see this one?
Hey, did you see this one?
Hey, did you see this one, bitch? Hey, bitch. Did you see this one, bitch? Hold on. Fuck. Wait, fuck. I gotta get to the song. Hey, bitch. There we go. Oh,
Is this the outro part?
yeah, it's still on us. Thanks for watching Screen. There we go.
Jeez, guys, I got a little edgy at the end there. I wanted to start crying almost.
Why?
This is a safe space.
Because I was feeling very like I wanted to say more things, but I didn't know how to say them about both of you pieces of shit.